Good morning. This is Across the Tri-State on WKSG, Garrison, Kentucky, and WEEC, Springfield. I'm Lisa Jordan. Welcome to our time together for this edition of Across the Tri-State. November is National Adoption Month, and today, November the 22nd, is earmarked as National Adoption Day. Many children previously in legal limbo will exit the courtroom and not only with a new last name, but their forever family. This is certainly worth celebrating. And while there are many children adopted each year in our country alone, there are about 50,000 children of all ages legally available for adoption. Some of these children may be right in our own community and neighborhoods. Focus on the Family Director of Foster Care and Adoption, Dr. Sharon Ford, is our special guest today on Across the Tri-State. Welcome, Sharon, to Across the Tri-State.
Lisa, thank you for having me today.
We're really grateful for your time. I want to hear more about this day, this special day of National Adoption Day. Tell us more about it.
It is a wonderful opportunity for celebration of children who have been in what you said, legal limbo, being able to enter the courtroom with their foster family or with another family who child welfare has approved for them to be their new forever family. And so families come in, family after family, and they're sitting in the courtroom, and it's a happy day for the judge. Boy, judges get to hear all kinds of cases throughout the year, and usually they're not met with this kind of celebration, a time of honoring, a time of showing love. And the judge is sitting there with their black robe, the family is sitting at one table, the Department of Human Services or Child Welfare is sitting at another table, and that department agency's attorney is sharing, this is who the couple is, this is who they're looking to adopt, this is how long they've been known to the agency, all the training that they've gone through, and then the judge will ask that very important question to each of the parents, to the husband, to the wife. Are you saying that you want to adopt this child or this sibling group? And they get a chance to respond to the judge, and then the other spouse gets to be asked that same question, and they get to respond. And depending on the age of the children, the judge will ask the children, each one of them, what do you want to see happen today? And boy, hearing the kids go, I want to take on my new name. I'm going to be so-and-so and so-and-so after today. Or I'm going to be, that's going to be my mom, my dad. And boy, the courtroom just bursts in enthusiasm and laughter, depending on what, because littles can say all kinds of things. And even older kids can say all kinds of things as well. And then the judge will say, as of this day, this hour, and he'll hit the gavel. And sometimes judges will even invite that young person up into where the judge is sitting and give the child that gavel, and the judge will say the words, and the judge will say, now hit the gavel on this block of wood, and the child will do that, and the judge says, and you are now a family, the new Smith family, the new Thomas family. And boy, in some courts, the judge gives the child a new teddy bear or a bouquet of balloons. And in the audience, there might be grandma and grandpa and cousins and the bio family, children of that family. And everyone erupts, and the judge will say, come stand in front of the judge's bench, and they'll take a photo, and the judge will be in the photo. And sometimes the caseworker who's been on that child's or children's case will be standing there, and they're snapping pictures. What a joyous, joyous time. Because just years ago, when the judge was having to hear the case, maybe that same judge, there was weeping and there was concern about the children being protected, they've been living in a neglected situation. So hard to hear. But today, National Adoption Day. There's joy all around. There's sadness. There's sadness about that the family child couldn't go back home. But this is a new start for this child, for these children, and the promise of hope. And that family who has made a purpose in their heart to make a different kind of life for these children. But, happens today. It's like a wedding. It's a celebration. And people say, I do's. Yes, Your Honor, I do. I'm going to be the parent. Yes, Your Honor, I'm willing to love them. And they're going to be my forever children. And it's an awesome day. I've been in court many, many times when it's happened. And it's always wonderful.
It sounds like a wonderful experience. I know that it's like that proverbial saying for someone and their success, that that little turtle that's on the fence post didn't get there by himself to celebrate. Um, there's a process. There's a need. There is information that we need to get out there to the listener about the importance of adoption and fostering. They didn't just get here by themselves to this wonderful, magnificent day. How do we get to that wonderful day you're telling us about? And that says that celebratory day of that adoption, that final family home, and that family celebration. How do we get there?
You ask a wonderful question, Lisa. So, the process of becoming a foster parent and becoming an adoptive parent is not a short process, to be honest with you. Um, First, I think it needs to start with prayer, asking God, God, how would you like to use my family to be a blessing to a child or a sibling group that's in need? And hearing the call from God to move forward, it's important to go. Who are the organizations, agencies in your community in the tri state area that you would be able to go and participate in an orientation meeting? That orientation meeting is so critical. You get to be introduced to that agency and their practices, their staff members. You get to hear about why kids come into foster care, about abuse and neglect, and the difference between the two. You get to hear about families who are struggling, maybe living in poverty, and that impoverished state has brought those children to the attention of child welfare services because they were at risk of harm or they had been harmed in their living situation. You'll hear about the importance of going through training, and every family who's going to be a foster parent has to go through training, as well as families who are wanting to be adoptive families. You see, why training? I've been a parent before. Why do I have to be trained? You've never parented a child from the foster care system. You've never been involved in government. Remember, government is here to help you. And so understanding what that means. And so learning more about that. And so families who say, go through the orientation and they go, oh, okay, well, we want to go to the next step. The next step is going to the training. And then that training might be as few as 20 hours. It might be as many as 32 hours, depending on your jurisdiction. But it helps to understand many things about caring for a child who has lived and been experienced trauma. Every child who comes into the foster care system has been impacted by some level of trauma. And the other thing is about children who are part of a sibling group. Lots of families will go, oh, well, I think I could parent one child, maybe two. Well, I'm here to tell you that there are kids who are coming into the foster care system who've been abused and neglected, and they're sibling groups of 3, 4, 5. I've even seen sibling groups of 7. You say, well, I don't know that I could take in 7 children. That's okay. Maybe there's another family that they do have space in their home where they could take in 7 children. That's why it's important to be following the call of God to be able to step into this work. I'll be honest and tell you that it's messy. It's not nice and neat. It's not crisp and clean. It's there's ups and downs and there's twists and turns, and it requires you being flexible. It requires you having the gift of understanding and the willingness to move at the pace that child welfare is going to be moving. And so part of that was the training. The other part is that you're going to have a home assessment. They want to come in and talk to the family, the individuals who are living in your home, your spouse, your husband, your wife, your children, based on age appropriateness. Maybe your in-laws live with you as well. And so they'll want to interview them too, because everyone who's in the home will be impacting that child or sibling group who comes into their home. They'll want to know that your pets are vaccinated and their vaccines are up to date. In fact, they're going to ask for each person living in the home to have a medical exam and for a doctor to sign off saying that you don't have any disease that would potentially put that child or children at risk of harm that when they come into your home. Gosh, if you have a swimming pool in your backyard, is that swimming pool encased so that kids won't accidentally wander into the swimming pool and drown? They'll want to know, gosh, if you live in a rural community, if you have farm equipment, is that farm equipment out of the range of a child maybe being able to climb on that equipment and putting themselves at harm? All those kinds of things you'll learn about when you go to the actual training. And you get to ask all of your questions. And you say, well, gosh, I don't know what questions to ask. I want to direct you to a website that will help you know some of the questions that you should ask, because this is an important decision that you and your family are going to make. I encourage you to go to Focus on the Family's website. That's waitnomore.org. Focus has that website set up just for families who are wanting to foster, who want to adopt, or who are interested in doing kinship care, or if you're interested in wrapping around a family who's caring for a child in foster care. All that information is there, waitnomore.org. Love to have you come to our website. The other thing you'll be able to do once you're on that website is you can ask me questions. There's a place where it says contact us on the site, and you can put your questions in. They'll come to me, and I'll be able to respond to them, me or one of my colleagues, and we'll get that information back to you. This is an important time in your life. And as you and your husband decide, or you and your wife decide that this is what God's called you to, it's important to have a family meeting. Why? Because your birth children who are living inside your home, as well as those living outside of your home, they're going to be impacted too. And so it's a family decision. Oh, yes, mom and dad have made the decision, but how do you get the family involved and making sure that their needs are getting met and they don't feel like something's being done to them? We have videos on our site that provide information about that and articles on our site as well. And again, you can always ask questions. So that foster care is a temporary thing. The goal is for that child to return home. But when the court decides that the children cannot go back home safely, the court will sever parental rights. And that's a hard thing for a judge to make that decision. Information has come to them over and over again about the family's capacity to change and to make their home safe, to do what it needs to parent the children safely. But when the family is unable to do so, maybe they have substance abuse issues or mental health issues, or maybe they just aren't ready, they're not ready to be a parent, then the court makes the decision to terminate rights. And so now that child's legally available for adoption. So now it's about, has God called you just to be a foster parent, or is God wanting you to be the forever family for this child? And in making that decision, that's a lifelong decision now to welcome that child into your home for adoption. But if God's called you to it, he's going to provide what you need to make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dr. Ford, for sharing with us on Across the Tri-State again. If someone wanted to reach out to Focus on the Family or to you personally about adoption and foster care, where could they do that again?
They could go to Focus on the Family's website, waitnomore.org, waitnomore.org.
Sharon Ford of Focus on the Family. Thank you, Doctor, for your time and enlightening us on National Adoption Day and the importance of foster care and adopting children right in our own neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Lisa.